Okay.
Well, I guess she's recording.
Okay,
Got
so we're recording now, so I'll just briefly review that. Everyone should have the app downloaded on their phone because it will make everything easier for you. It will keep your flights updated. You'll have easy access to what the requirements are because I included the link of what the entry requirements are for Ecuador. So that link is updated every day. It'll tell you the latest requirements. And right now you're required to have a COVID test, PCR, RT-PCR test within 72 hours of boarding your flight to the Galapagos. Not the flight from Boston, but the flight from Guayaquil to the Galapagos. So you can't get tested before October 20th. And I recommend getting tested early afternoon of October 20th in case the flight's delayed out of Guayaquil. That'll give you a little bit of leeway. And make sure that you get them to promise that you'll have the test back within 24 to 48 hours so you can print it out and have that with your white CDC vaccination card, the original copy. Have that, your negative test result, your passport, and a credit card, and you'll be good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
A little bit of cash maybe. But
How
they
much
do
cash do you
US
recommend again?
Well, they take US dollars down there. You'll just need it for tipping, which I believe is in the documents. And miscellaneous spending money, but other than that, everything's included.
Great.
So what would your recommendation be for cash?
Oh, what was the tipping? Anyone have their documents in front of them?
No.
They recommend a $200 tip, and you can pay that before the day that we disembark. You can pay that on a credit card. But it's recommended to have around $200 cash is fine. There is an ATM on Santa Cruz when we're there, and then of course Guayaquil. So,
Yeah.
But yes, it's a recommended tip of $200 for the trip.
Yeah, and then I like to I usually go to the bank and I usually get probably like $25 in singles and another 25 in fives and then some tens, just so you have small change.
Is that 200 per couple or per person or what?
So I think that per person. Yes.
Okay, so we went over this. Don't forget your vaccination cards. Got the PCR information, the app, transfers. So Lindblad, there's a few of you that are getting in at the same time as a group flight. So Lindblad will be there to meet you, but Lindblad offered to arrange the hotel to send the shuttle for everybody else. So that'll be nice. The hotel shuttle should be out front, when you get there. If not, I attached the phone number on everyone's app.
Who's in the group and who's not? I mean, we're getting there at like 10:30 or something in the evening.
Yep, I put everybody's name on your itinerary.
Oh, okay.
So you can see the list of names of who's on the same flights.
But when we get there, so they'll be there after midnight when
Yep.
we get there because we're coming on our own.
Yep, they will. The hotel shuttle, but I put their phone number on there if they're not there. But if for some reason you just want to hop in a taxi, just make sure it's an authorized taxi. The hotel's only, I want to say it was 4 kilometers away, so 10 minutes tops. There's usually a taxi lineup, so check with the taxi desk there, make sure it's the authorized taxi, and they'll bring you right to the hotel. If for some reason the shuttle doesn't work out for you, shouldn't be much at all.
For those that are coming in, like I think Mike and Jane and Nancy and I are coming in like in that early morning of the 23rd. There'll be a Lindblad.
No, there'll be a hotel.
The hotel shuttle.
Okay, all right.
Hotel. Only the people that are going on the.
Yeah, and Lindblad has all your flight information, so
The hotel has all our
but
flight.
yeah, don't hesitate to call the hotel if you can't find the shuttle.
So they
But
can find us if we get screwed up.
Well, no, the hotel shuttle won't come looking for you.
Somebody will look right. Well, I'm with Stephanie, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good.
And I have everyone's flight info, and I will make sure, I mean, it will be difficult to communicate with people in another country using the phone. But I have everyone's info, so here's hoping that everything runs smoothly. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it will.
and that's why I say, don't hesitate to use one of the authorized taxis at the hotel.
Right.
Make sure it's the authorized one by the airport. Because, 5 minutes, you're at the hotel. $10, $20, it's,
Not a big thing.
yeah, just to get you to the hotel, but the hotel should be there. If not, give them a call, and then worst case, take a taxi. And then you have not got your documents, give me a call. And I think that's it. Everyone's all set to go. Keep an eye on your flights. Check in within 24 hours. Make sure you do check in case there's any last minute changes. So the airlines has make sure they have your phone number and your email. Click off yes for texting, flight changes, because
Nancy, could you repeat what you said just before you said, then you're all set? Because whatever that was garbled and I couldn't hear it. But you don't know what it was.
no.
What was that?
Just before
Yeah.
you said, and then you're all set, there was something that came through, but it was all garbled. So I don't know what it was.
What was
Well,
it about?
We'll have the recording.
Well, if I knew what it was about, I wouldn't be asking for a repeat. I don't know.
Yeah.
All
I'm
I
not
could hear was blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, just make sure you have your passport, your white CDC card, your negative test results. Have your,
You were making reference to checking with the airlines to make sure that your airlines are your air travel's up to date.
yep,
Oh, okay.
yep. And check in within 24 hours for your flight, because even though you probably can't get a boarding pass for an international flight, you can at least get checked in, and usually sometimes there's a shorter line if you're checked in without a boarding pass. Make sure you get to the airport at least 3 hours in advance, because the airports are much slower with the short staffing. It's better to sit.
So Nance, if something happens and a flight gets rescheduled, which a lot of my flights lately have been getting rescheduled, do we take care of that ourselves, or do we call you?
Well, hopefully it won't happen that day, but yeah, no, call me.
Okay.
So that's why it's a good idea to check in within 24 hours. I mean, I'll be looking at them too, but make sure you check in within 24 hours, just in case there is a last minute change. I did just have a honeymoon couple last week that got changed, a major change the day before, from a double to a triple connection. They're starting in Brazil, first time ever traveling. They're from Brazil, so sweet little couple.
But basically, if you miss the flight out of our departure,
Miami.
you're kind of screwed, right? If
Well,
something-
they'll get you there. That's why it's, good to have travel insurance.
Right.
But Lindblad will work with you to get you on the ship.
Very cute dog.
But there are, there's like one
Sorry.
connection, there's five or six of you, 4 of you on another, and then 2 and 2. So it's not like just one person. So yeah, they'll help. We'll deal with it if that happens, but we're going to be optimistic, and everything's going to go great.
And once we get
We'll
to the hotel,
get
we check in ourselves, and we're supposed to go straight to a certain area, right? So we stay
Uh,
kind of a little bit.
Yep, should be all in your documents, but worst case, just check in. The front desk will let you know, if the guide is in bed or something. We'll, make sure you know what
The
time.
guide will be in bed by the time we get there. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Actually,
He should
the big transfer is like at 11 at night, right, Stephanie? Your flight gets in around
Yeah,
10.
like 10:38.
Yeah, so that's when the bulk of the people will be getting there, so.
Right.
He'll still be up when we arrive at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Just look for them in the bar.
Oh
Nancy,
my God.
I have a question. On the Lindblad portal where we've uploaded our information, it also asks us to upload our test results. Do we need to worry about that since we're going to be showing
Yes.
it in person?
Yep, do both. Yep, yep.
Okay, because for some of us, it sounds like we might be getting the results just by email because we'll already be traveling. So
Yes,
Right.
so if that happens, you just click save, it depends on your phone, but
okay,
or computer, just hit save, or you can email it to me and I can upload it for you.
okay,
Great.
that's great.
That might help. That
Forward
might
the
happen.
email. Yeah, just forward the email and I should be able to figure it out.
Wonderful.
Because
Um,
once you're traveling, once you leave home,
It's hard, yeah.
it can be tricky. It can just be on and off. It can be very slow. Yeah, it can be difficult.
Yep, and I'll be home on the 22nd, so.
And then we also have to do, the only thing besides uploading the test results is to answer the health questionnaire. Is that right?
Yep,
And when is that due by?
all the same time, and then you also need to fill out one for the country, which is
Reminder.
the link, that link that's in your itinerary.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay.
I have a
Packing.
quick question. Quick, on the boat and stuff, is it standard power, like standard power plugs?
Yeah, we talked about.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, thank God. You don't have to bring any adapters or anything.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. And I put together a little presentation. Some of you have seen it, but I've added on because we now have the itinerary. So if you want, I can go through that and I hope it will answer some of your questions.
You want to go over packing first in case somebody needs to leave? Or
Sure.
anyone have any burning questions that can't wait till the end, or?
Well, I have packing questions, but I can wait. So doesn't matter.
You're gonna stay?
Mhm.
Is everyone?
I'm gonna take you guys into my kitchen, but I'll be here.
Okay. And I'm gonna be here too. I'm just gonna be doing some other things, so I'm gonna go mute myself.
Yes, actually, I'm going to mute everyone. And so if you have a question, if you can just unmute yourself and then mute yourself again. Otherwise, we'll pick up the background noise and it will keep switching. So
Yep.
I am going to mute everyone. That feels so rude. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, yay. And I hope everyone can see me and hear me. Is it good? Okay, so first of all, I'm super excited because it's only 2 weeks and 2 days and we will be getting on the ship, which is amazing. I feel like we've been waiting so long and it's really, really here. And so the adventure begins. You should have all received, or you will receive, a box, a blue box from Lindblad with your documents. Oops, I have a background so you can't see it well. With your documents and also your luggage tags and name tags. If you haven't received it, you'll receive it any day. I know one person received theirs today. And so don't forget to bring your passport, your name tag, your luggage tags, luggage ribbons, and all of your documents. And so when we get to the Guayaquil airport, you're either going to be greeted by Lindblad, like Nancy said, or if you're on a different flight, you're going to take a shuttle to the airport. For the group that I'm with, will be transported directly to the hotel by Lindblad. And then our representative, and like Nancy said, they will give you the details so you'll know, what time in the morning you'll be picked up. You will get all the info, even if you're on a really late flight. But the representative is going to give us information about COVID tests because we're going to be tested before we get onto the boat. And they'll give you information about transferring for the morning. So basically, once you get to the hotel, you're going to be totally taken care of by Lindblad, which is awesome. So on 10:23 in the morning, we're going to have breakfast and then we're all going to be transported to the airport. so that we can fly to San Cristobal. And just to remember, there's a 50-pound luggage limit on those local flights. And so you want to make sure that you don't overpack. You can store items at the hotel. I think we're all staying at Hotel Oro, and that is available, that you can store items there. Our local flight tickets, that's all set. Those tickets will be given to us by our guides when we are at the airport, so we don't have to worry about holding on to them or printing them. And then we will be transported by Lindblad to the port, so that we, excuse me, I'm sorry. Once we land on San Cristobal from the flight, we'll be transported to the port by Lindblad and greeted by the National Geographic crew and Zodiacs. And we take the Zodiacs to go out to the boat, which is basically what you're seeing here. So pretty much once we get to the hotel, we are covered. They take care of us. And the next day we'll be having breakfast, getting transported to the airport, flying to San Cristobal, Galapagos. And then from there, we'll be transported to the port, greeted by our National Geographic crew for the week, and taken on Zodiacs so that we can embark the Endeavour 2, which will be our home for the next 7 days. It's so exciting. Once we get on the boat, and I have a few more slides about this, there will be welcome briefings, a safety drill. They're going to have lunch, and we can explore the ship and settle in for the day. And so this is from when I was there in 2019. This was San Cristobal. We landed, we were transported to the port, and we were picked up in the Zodiac. And then I saw this unbelievable ship, which I cannot wait to see again with all of you. And so we get on the ship, and again, this is home for the next 7 days. And so this ship, it's a 96 passenger boat. It's fully stabilized. It's air conditioned. There is cabin control that you can control the temperature in your own cabin. Seasickness is not typically a problem because the boat is stabilized, but also the boat travels at night. And I'm thinking about you, Nancy. I really didn't notice that we were traveling because the boat would travel at night and we'd wake up and be near a new island, which was wonderful. I have been seasick before in my life, and I didn't feel any seasickness, thank God, being on this boat. There is a doctor on the boat. There's a lounge, dining area, library, global gallery, gift shop, gym, spa, and a very safe community atmosphere. In fact, they don't have keys for the room. I think if you really want a key for your room, you have to actually ask for it, because right from the get-go, they want you to feel that you are a family and that it's a safe space. And you will see by the end of the week that we definitely will all very much be a family. And this was just a quick, you probably can't even see the details, but this is the boat. And I have pictures of what some of these rooms look like. And I have the slipperiest mouse on the planet. So this is the lounge where most of the presentations take place. So with Lindblad, the day is packed with opportunities. There's hiking, there's snorkeling, there's kayaking, there's glass bottom boat, and then there are presentations, typically midday, and then a dinner presentation with National Geographic naturalists. So you'll be learning about a variety of things from, wildlife photography to the HMS Beagle, all sorts of stuff. And so this is a spot where you will end up spending time listening to the National Geographic naturalists. This is their global gallery. And so it's a library area. And I have to say, and I've mentioned this before, and many of you have already seen this presentation, but even though there's 96 passengers on the boat, I never felt overcrowded, and there were always places to go to just be alone. And this library was one of them. And so it was a really quiet space, very comfortable. These are what the rooms typically look like. They do ask you to close your blinds at night, and that is because at night you are moving. But I actually learned that the gulls, the swallowtail gulls, are usually out eating bugs from around the boat. So this time when I go, I am not going to close my blinds because I actually want to watch that. Unless my roommate disagrees. And so every day there are all these various excursions on the different islands that we'll visit. And how we get to them is by Zodiac. And are the Zodiac safe? Absolutely. I felt so safe. These were all, these are native people who are driving the boats. They've been driving them for years. They can do it in their sleep. And when you're snorkeling, the Zodiac driver always stays on the boat and they're looking out for you. So when you're snorkeling, you will be always with a partner. They make sure that you have a partner. You will be with a group. Your guide will be in the water with you. You will know your boat's number. And that boat and Zodiac driver will be following you, basically accompanying you while you're in the water. So your boat guide, your Zodiac guide is someone that you will really, you'll get to love. And of course, it's a different person for each of the trips. You will learn basic hand signals while snorkeling so that you can share with your group if you see a shark or a turtle. And also you'll learn signs of distress if you feel you need to get out of the water immediately. This is a typical schedule for a Lindblad National Geographic trip. And I feel like this is not the best example because this was the last day on my trip. And so typically there's a little more activity off the boat, but a typical day. And again, all these things are optional. If you want to just sleep in or get sun on the top deck, you totally can. So 6 a.m. breakfast for photography groups. So this is photography groups were going to disembark at 6:30 a.m. for a photography walk. So that was an option. Wet landing means that your feet will get wet when you get off the Zodiac. And every evening you will actually have, we'll meet in that captain's lounge, and National Geographic will tell us what's on the schedule for the next day. And then on your bed in your cabin, you will have a schedule for the next day. So you have plenty of time where you can look at the schedule and decide what you want to do, schedule your hikes, schedule your naps. And you don't have to sign up for anything, which I think was the best thing. So if you want to go on, the 6:30 a.m. photography walk, all you have to do is show up at the back of the boat and they get you on a Zodiac. You don't have to sign up and say that you're going. So you can change your mind at any time, which is also good. So a typical day, so if you're not going on the photography walk, you can do 6:30 a.m. stretching. You can have 7 a.m. Regular breakfast hours. And then 8 a.m. there was an option to disembark and go to Prince Philip Steps, which was on the island of Genovesa. A dry landing, which means that your feet will not get wet, so you can wear appropriate foot gear. And a long hike, which I have to tell you was about 2 miles. I would say, yes, a complete 2 miles. And it was on volcanic rock, which was flattened. It was very easy walking. And so that was what was considered a longer hike. But anyway, just wanted to show you this to give you an idea of how packed. Lindblad is known for packing the schedule in, but you do not have to do everything. If you're going to hang around with me, I try to do everything because it's just such an amazing experience. But I also like to take naps. So we are going to see a lot of sea lions. In fact, San Cristobal, which is the capital of the Galapagos, Puerto Macareno, that is the largest sea lion colony in all of the archipelago. So this was a pup that we saw there. And so you're going to see lots of sea lions and their pups. And in terms of snorkeling, make sure you bring your head protection because you're close to the equator and the sun is very, very strong and very bright. Sunscreen, sunglasses, I recommend if you can get like a reef safe sunscreen. Flip-flops are not recommended for the Zodiacs, and I point that out because here I am wearing flip-flops. Flip-flops are fine for the boat, but when you're in a Zodiac snorkeling, the bottom of the boat is wet, and it's not the best, foot gear. So I recommend sturdy water shoes that you can also hike in. Keen, Tiva, things like that, or water slippers for your snorkeling and for wet landings. Because what happens is when we're snorkeling, we get into the boat with all our gear, and then you jump into the water to snorkel. It's when you get back in that everything's wet because everyone's bringing their flippers in and their gear. And so that is when the bottom of the boat is wet, which is also why I recommend if you have items that you must have on the Zodiac with you, medications, identification cards, cameras, phones, I recommend a dry bag, recognizable dry bag that can be on the floor of the boat. And if it gets wet, the items inside are not going to get wet. The air temp in October is typically 77 to low 80s, and the water temp around 71 degrees. Therefore, we will be wearing wetsuits, which are provided by Lindblad. You can bring your own, of course, if you want to. They also provide the snorkeling gear, mask and flippers. They have personal flotation devices. You will find every time you get on the Zodiac, you have to either take a life vest with you or they provide a life vest. So every second that you're on that boat and it's moving, you will have a life vest on you. They also have inflatable vests if you need them, which is this yellow thing, which adds a little bit more buoyancy if you need it in the water. There are scuba and kayaking opportunities. I actually listed, I took the itinerary and I made a slide to show what we're doing every day. And you'll see there are a few kayaking activities. In terms of scuba, you have to be certified. And I don't know, Nancy Judson, you and Lucas are going to, no, Lucas is going to scuba dive, right?
He wants to, and he's taking scuba classes, but they were saying something like he had to have a certain amount of open water hours. Like he's getting
Okay.
certified, but I don't know that he'll have enough of the open water hours. Is that correct? Or do you think he'll be able to scuba?
I don't know. Nancy Bradford, are you here to answer
I
this?
am, yeah, I don't think so. When I checked with them, they said it's a more advanced, so I don't think he'll be advanced enough.
I have a question about scuba. I am certified, and I did find my card the other day. It's in my maiden name. Do I need to prove that I'm that person, or do you think it'll be okay?
It's not in your name?
It's in my maiden name.
Oh,
Do I have to bring
I'll-
my
I'll
marriage?
check again on the scuba. I'll make a note to email her
I
tomorrow.
mean, I could take a copy of my marriage certificate, but it seemed like.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I'll check that both for Lucas and, to see where he is. Where is he on his class, Nancy?
I'm not sure. I know he's in the process of taking it and going on the weekend thing. And
You're not certified. You can't get certified until you do your open water dive.
yeah, so he'll do that and all that before, I think it's all completed before we
Okay, then
go.
he'll be certified.
But he won't have a certain, like 100 hours or whatever they're saying.
I don't know if that's.
Yeah, okay.
I guess we just need to find that out, but they'll have the stuff for him. He doesn't need to bring any scuba stuff, right? Or
I don't think so, but I'll double check that. And then Nancy, I'll check about for you too.
All right, thanks.
and when you're saying head protection, are you saying head protection while you're snorkeling? Or just a hat?
Yes, I actually found that my scalp burned because I snorkeled so much, and your head's down. So I put a scarf on my head and that helped. And then for this trip, I bought like a $10 Speedo cap. I mean, I have really fair skin, but it was not something I ever thought of that my
Yeah.
scalp would burn.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I wear one of those buffs around my head and then just make sure it's not under your mask or it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
leak.
That's a good point. Okay, those are great questions. And then if you don't want to get wet, there are kayaking and glass bottom boat and oops, I don't know why my mouse is so sensitive. I'm so sorry. There are kayaking, glass bottom boat and paddleboard opportunities. So that's great. So for the dining, the food was absolutely incredible. And every evening they had captain's cocktails, which you can also get non-alcoholic. They are usually with fresh Ecuadorian native fruit. The food was buffet style, and I understand from Nancy that they will actually be serving, it will still be buffet style, but they'll be serving us instead of us serving ourselves. And there's usually a couple of dinners where you actually place an order for what you prefer for the evening. And
Yes,
so,
I just got back from a cruise a few weeks ago, and any buffets they did have set up, they would serve us.
okay,
Just so
That's good.
people aren't touching the silverware and so forth.
that's good to know. And I have to say, when I was there in 2019, pre-pandemic, before we even enter the dining room, you were given hand sanitizer. So I feel really good about this. I feel like they're going to be extremely safe. And it's a beautiful dining area. And so you do not have to make reservations. I'm hoping I can meet with some of you for dinners. You certainly don't have to meet with me, but if you'd like to eat together, I'm hoping that we can. And if there are any special celebrations, we can reserve a table. So that's stuff we can talk about when we're there. I keep talking about the captain's cocktails, and the reason I talk about them is because I didn't want to drink them because I didn't want to splurge until the end of the trip. And so now I will not be missing them because they're amazing. But a typical evening looks like this: before the dinner and before the evening presentation, there's usually some sort of gathering on the top deck. And some evenings they actually had stargazing on the top deck after dinner, which was really lovely. So lots to do. You'll go to bed really tired in a good way. And so I took the itinerary and I just mapped it out a little bit so you can see where we're going. And most of these photographs, by the way, are from my dear friend Elizabeth, and I feel like I have to thank her. This was from the trip that we were on. But basically, day one is our first full day on the boat, which is Sunday, October 24th, and we are going to North Seymour Island. And on this island, we will have a really great chance of seeing land iguanas, sea lion colonies, blue-footed boobies, nesting frigate birds, and they're planning an early morning hike and then snorkeling opportunities. So there's always, there's breakfast, there's stretching on the top deck if you're interested, early morning hike, snorkeling opportunities, there's lunch, there's usually a midday presentation, afternoon snorkeling, hiking, and kayaking on this day at Rabida Island. Day two, which is Monday, we are going to Fernandina and Isabella Islands. And so Fernandina is the youngest and most pristine island in the Galapagos. Oops, I'm going to let someone in. And I'm very excited to see it. These are Western islands and supposedly stark black lava flows and just a really beautiful, beautiful landscape. And on these islands, you can see some of the largest marine iguana colonies in the whole archipelago. Here we will be able to see the flightless cormorant, which is a bird that I am so excited about. This is, a lot of these species are endemic, meaning you can only see them in the Galapagos. And so this is the Galapagos flightless cormorant, which means it can only be seen there. We'll also see Sally lightfoot crabs, sea lions, green sea turtles, so many more animal, wildlife opportunities. And so the schedule for that day, it looks like we'll be snorkeling in the morning. And then we'll be back on the boat for lunch. We will sail in the afternoon to nearby Isabella Island. And then we will actually view from the outer deck of the boat. We'll view into a collapsed volcano, Volcano Ecuador, while we cross the equator. So that sounds like a, monumental evening. I'm sure it'll be really beautiful, or afternoon, I should say. They're also offering Zodiac ride options in search of Galapagos fur seals and penguins. And just so you know, when they offer a Zodiac ride, that is just what it says, just a Zodiac ride where you will not get off the boat. So you don't have to worry about swimming or, wearing your wetsuit or anything like that. On Tuesday, October 26th. Oh, I didn't list where we're going. I'm gonna have to look at the schedule. Well, we're going to an unknown island. And we are landing on a nesting turtle beach of black sand. This is also one of the Western islands. There will be hiking options. There's a large land iguana nesting colonies there, and possible tortoise sightings at this location. There's even time to swim after the hike. And then in the afternoon, we're visiting the Tagus Cove, which apparently the HMS Beagle used to anchor there all the time. So that's a historical place. There will be optional hikes, zodiac rides, kayaking, and chances to see Galapagos penguins, the flightless cormorants, lots of shorebirds, and deep water snorkeling will be an option. This is a Galapagos oyster catcher. On day 4, Wednesday, we are going to the island of Santiago, and there will be an optional pre-breakfast hike behind one of the largest turtle nesting colonies in the Galapagos. So that's pretty incredible. We'll explore Buccaneer Cove. We can do that either by zodiac ride or by kayak, and there will be a snorkeling option. And in the afternoon, there will be optional hikes for Puerto Egas through mixed ash and lava flows. And then we have the opportunity of seeing, and you know, I'm listing highlight wildlife, but of course there's songbirds everywhere. The flora is usually incredible. There is so much to see. Day 5, I know, is going to be a highlight for many of you because that's when we're going to be landbound for most of the day on the island of Santa Cruz. And in the Galapagos, there are only 4 inhabited islands, and Santa Cruz is one of the 4, and it has the largest population of any of the Galapagos islands. It has a population of around 11,000 people. And I'm wondering, so on the itinerary, they stated that we'll be traveling to the highlands where we'll see Galapagos tortoises at El Chato Ranch, which is just incredible. It's a ranch, but it's basically, it's wilderness. It's a wild preserve for these animals. And so we're going to see the lush highlands and then go to the lowlands and see very drastically different habitats on different sides of the island. So we'll see tortoises in the wild. And they didn't mention that we will be going to Puerto Ayora. That is the fish market downtown. And I hope that COVID does not prevent us from doing so, because my hope is normally they allow you to walk through the town. This fish market is very special because it's very small, one small table, but it attracts so much wildlife. You know, there'll be sea lions there. They're hoping for handouts from the fish market. And so it's just one of the most incredible places to see the wildlife up close. And so I'm really hoping that COVID doesn't limit us. Nonetheless, even if we are just going to the highlands and the lowlands, it will be absolutely extraordinary. It's a very special place. Day 6, October 29th.
Quick question, Stephanie, quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Are we gonna need masks to be wearing masks when we're walking around these places?
Nancy, I think on Santa Cruz, we will be required to wear masks. When we're in the transport, we'll be required to wear masks. Is that correct,
Yeah.
Nancy?
Yep. Can you hear me? Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. When I was on my cruise, they asked you to wear masks while you're milling about ready to board until you go through the process of getting on board. Once you're on board, they were optional. But again, you know, they may change the policies. And then they recommend wearing them, you know, like if you're just walking from one public area to another, but then when you sit down, you know, take them off. You know, it's kind of the same as the US, but then they'll ask you to wear masks in any public transportation and so forth. So definitely always have a mask with you. And for the plane, I do recommend going with the KN95 masks. You can get them on Amazon. If anyone wants, I can send the link of the kind I buy.
I bought a
Um,
big bunch of those and I'm happy to share because I have more than I would likely use. And
Yeah,
they came in like a big batch. I think there's like 30 or 35 of them.
that's the same kind I get. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're pretty comfortable because they don't come flat across your face.
Yeah, I haven't tried them on, but I hate to see somebody else have to buy another 30 or 35 of them, if
Yeah.
we're not going to use them a whole lot. So I'm happy to share. If they just contact me, that's fine.
Yep. They kind of poke out so you have some breathing room in it. And that's where I wear them to the grocery store and everywhere I go. So, but I'm sure they'll have plenty of masks on board as well.
And they gave us a mask in our box that we received. Just, that's a disposable mask. Okay, on October 29th, we will be back on San Cristobal. And San Cristobal is exciting for so many reasons. For one, they have all 3 booby species of the Galapagos breeding there. So we'll have an opportunity to see all 3 species up close. There are hiking and zodiac options, afternoon zodiac cruises before landing on a sandy white beach for nature hikes. There will be swimming and snorkeling options. Lots going on this day. And then after dinner, we're going to go ashore to explore Bacarezo Moreno, which is what I was mentioning earlier. It's the capital of Galapagos, and there is the largest sea lion breeding colony there. So that's a great opportunity to see sea lions up close with their pups on the beaches. It's a truly special place. And that is the day before our very last day, which makes me sad. But Saturday, October 30th, we will be in San Cristobal. We're going to have breakfast, and then we are going to disembark the ship at the port. But Lindblad will be taking us on our final excursion that day into the highlands to see a new species of Galapagos tortoise, which is very exciting. And then Lindblad will transport us directly to our hotel or airport, depending on what your schedule is. And then October 31st, most of us fly away, and it's Halloween, and I'm gonna miss you all. And I wish you all safe travels that day. We're all going to be sad, but I'm not gonna think about that because we're gonna have 7 to 8 amazing, amazing days. So I cannot wait to travel with you and meet some of you in person. And I feel my role on this trip is to make sure you have the time of your life to help facilitate and answer any questions. We can do evening check-ins only if you prefer. You guys are paying for National Geographic. You're not paying for me. And so my feelings will not be hurt if you don't want to, have dinners in the evenings. But my goal is for whoever wants to have dinners and check-ins in the evenings. I would love that. I would love to dine with you, and we can look at the schedule for the next day and make decisions or have discussions. And I just want to say thank you for doing this and supporting Wild Care while you do it. And yay, 2 weeks and 2 days.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yes, of course.
So dinners are not at a set time. You have to just go down at a certain, like whenever, or because you said
No.
you want to have dinners with us.
Dinner is at a set time, but you don't have to reserve a table.
Oh, gotcha.
So it will be on the schedule like 8 p.m. dinner. And so we will be connecting so we can decide. It might be that we need to get down there a little bit early so that we all have a table together. If we decide that, if that makes sense, but we don't have to make reservations. We can make reservations if we wish.
And on the deep sea snorkeling, so there's no swimming with that. It's just strictly snorkeling. But will there be opportunities to like do beach type swimming?
Yes, it looked like I think I saw 2 opportunities for swimming. Yes, I mean you can certainly, while you're snorkeling, like if you want to wear your bathing suit and just hang out by the Zodiac, because there will be deep water snorkeling options and bay snorkeling. And so the bay snorkeling is, you can touch the bottom basically. And so you could just swim instead of snorkel.
Because there's this thing that my girlfriend told me to get. It was just like $8 on Amazon, but it's got like 2 little floaty things with a net in it, and you can kind of sit in the water in it, and it folds up really, really small. Do you
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
bringing something like that?
Yes, you could bring that for you, the times that you're actually swimming. Because with the snorkeling, you have to be with a partner and you're with a group, so you have to keep the pace of the group. So that might not work, but I was excited to see 2 swimming options where you could certainly use that.
Okay, great.
Yay. Does anyone else have questions?
Yeah, I've got a question for you. When we arrive back into San Cristobal, okay, those of us that have flights out like that day or night, is Lindbad taking care of getting us off that island back to Ecuador to meet our connecting flights out?
That is a Nancy question.
Yep, you fly back to Guayaquil on the 30th.
Mhm,
So do
And
we
no,
all fly
there's-
back as a group?
mhm.
Yep,
Okay,
yep. And then, if you're one of the lucky ones that have one of the like 2:30 in the morning flights, you'll, get a couple hours in the hotel room.
Yes.
So
Um,
we're already paying for a hotel room, so we can just go take a nap in the afternoon and a
Yep.
shower and then get on the plane at night.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah,
are we at the same hotel going back?
Or
yes.
Okay,
I just realized that I skipped 2 really important slides because my mouse was going crazy. So I'm just gonna hit those. I meant to go over these. So if you don't speak Spanish, not a problem because everyone speaks English. Some of the Zodiac drivers didn't speak English as strongly, but pretty much everyone speaks English. And there is a change. Wi-Fi is available on the boat. It's super spotty at best. But I have been telling you all that they give you like 1 hour free every day. And I have not seen that. We just got our documents in the mail and it states that Wi-Fi can be purchased with a Wi-Fi card. And so it sounds like they are no longer offering free Wi-Fi. You have to purchase it. But I also want you to know that if you're planning to work on this trip, it might be very difficult because it's very spotty. And then I highly recommend a mobile international day pass. Most phone companies, they charge $10 a day, and AT&T includes Ecuador in that day pass. So it's $10 a day for any calls, texts that you make. And Lindblad on the boat, they will tell you, when we are 600 miles offshore and you're not going to get a signal. In my experience, they actually tell you, like, no cellular today, folks. Nancy, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, there's very little service out there. I wouldn't even bother, maybe have it just for your transportation days so you can get in touch with each other. But once you're on the cruise, I wouldn't even bother with Wi-Fi or phones because you want to enjoy your vacation. And, you can just take pictures with your phone and then, not even have to worry about phone calls or texts or anything like that, because it's just frustrating. You won't be able to get any service.
So when we disembark on the 30th, and then if we're not leaving till early the following morning, we have a hotel room already,
Yes.
right?
Yep, they'll fly you back, just like going out, fly you back, usually early afternoon, get back, and then you'll have maybe the afternoon, sometime in the afternoon, but at least the evening to just regroup and take a nap.
Can I ask a question?
how to get in touch with us.
And then can I just,
Yes.
and then the hotel shuttle takes us back really early in the morning to get like a 6 a.m. flight.
Exactly, yep.
Okay.
Amy, you have a question?
I do. There was some mention, and if this is in the documents box, which I haven't opened yet, then just tell me that and I'll go through it then. But there had been a mention about some kind of online thing that our family could watch since we couldn't be in touch with anybody. Is that information in the box?
That was, so on the trip I went on in 2019, they offered daily expedition reports, which was, I don't know if they're still offering this. I hope they are, where they will send you an email and ask you if you have any family or friends who want to receive daily reports about what you've been doing.
Yeah.
I will tell you that it's not current. You know, like they might get a report from the previous day and it doesn't start the first day. But that was a really nice, my family enjoyed, and we all know it's a way for them to get you on their mailing lists. But my family really enjoyed getting a report of what I've been doing in that week. So I'm hoping, Nancy, do you happen to know if they still offer that?
I was just Googling it. Looks like they still offer the 1 hour of Wi-Fi.
Oh, thank God.
And you
But,
said we need to
I'll
do something with
I'll
our,
double check it because I'm gonna be emailing her, so I'll ask about the Wi-Fi and the daily report then.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I'm wondering about that daily report thing. Is that the kind of thing that like kids would enjoy, like grandkids, or, you know, I mean, not 3-year-olds, but is the kind of thing like a 10-year-old would enjoy, or is it really meant for, I don't, just curious.
They might. It usually includes a few photos, like a group photo and some photos of animals that might have been seen, like marine iguanas. That's like if you were to write a blog about your day. Yeah, I think
Okay.
kids would enjoy it. They'd enjoy it for the photos. I'm
Okay.
thrilled to hear that they're offering the free Wi-Fi because I personally didn't want to pay for my own Wi-Fi. So thank you, Nancy.
so we don't have to, we don't have to alert our like telephone carrier or anything. We just use it. Is that right?
No, for the $10 a day, you
No,
do
for the
have to
1
run
hour
that
free.
internet. Oh, no.
Oh, the Wi-Fi.
No. And if you're not gonna pay the international fees, make sure your phone's always on airplane mode. Or they'll charge you big bucks.
But then,
Yes.
but we can use the Wi-Fi. That's all for free. It doesn't have to be on airplane mode or anything, right?
Just keep it on airplane mode. Don't take it off airplane mode if you don't want to pay any fees.
Okay.
If you go into Wi-Fi and you want to just do Wi-Fi, but you don't want your phone to do any cellular stuff, there is a way to set that. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know there is something you can do to keep it from looking for cellular stuff.
I did that. I turned it on. I turned cellular off so that it wasn't roaming.
Right. Yeah. There's a way to
I-
do that and still use Wi-Fi, right?
Yes, and it was a quick button, and then I
Yeah.
could use Wi-Fi. And then when I wanted to use the International Day Pass, I turned the cellular on and know that even if I couldn't get a text to go through, that I would be charged $10. Does that make sense? I mean, it was so worth it. But there are some days where it's just like, just forget it. You're in paradise and you're not connecting with anyone, just in the middle of nowhere. I hope
Hopefully there'll be a 16-year-old on board that can help you with your phones.
Are we still going to talk about like the packing list as well?
Yes, and that was one of the slides that I had skipped for some reason. But the packing list, oops, oh my goodness. Okay, so did everyone receive, I sent via email a Lindblad's packing list, which Nancy sent to me. Thank you, Nancy. And then I sent a recommended packing list. Did everyone receive that?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, good. And so for packing lists, I would definitely take a look at that. And it's important, just remember the animals are the closest you will get to wildlife anywhere in the world. So you really don't need huge cameras. You're welcome to bring them, but you really don't need them. And then they do have a computer kiosk where you can like download your photos. Make sure you bring USB drives or other photo storage devices. The other thing is you're going to meet people on the boat and you might want to share your photos with people. And so I highly recommend bringing a few USBs to use or share or let people borrow so they can transfer images if needed. Bring your GoPros, your cameras, your video cameras, binoculars, field guides, sunscreen and bug spray, your dry bags.
Bug spray is important.
Yes.
I
I
never
was-
used it. I never used it when I was there. But that's me.
I had one bug bite when I was there. That was
What
it.
did you never use, Nancy?
Bug spray.
Oh, okay.
I,
But
no
But I
bugs.
would bring it.
So most of the time, everyone's just in, super casual t-shirt or long sleeve t-shirt and joggers or something, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Mhm.
super casual. Clothes that are like breathable and dry easily, and a hat to protect your heads from the sun. Yes, super casual.
And at
Even for-
nighttime, when we showed that slide, people were in, look kind of dressed up.
You can if you want. I would say no one was ever like very dressy, but you certainly can. I wear dresses all the time, so I will wear dresses for dinner. But you do not have to. I mean, people were in Tivas and shorts and t-shirts for dinner. It's
I
definitely
happen to wear
casual.
dresses just because they're more comfortable for me than pants.
Me too.
So I have a weird question that might be for Nancy. I have a dry toothpaste that's a tablet so that I don't use toothpaste tubes. But it looks a little bit like a pill. Is it gonna create an issue at the airport? Do you know if
No.
anybody, you don't think so?
No,
Okay.
just keep it in the original container and
It
any
doesn't have-
prescriptions.
It doesn't have I mean, its original container is glass and I don't want to travel with glass. And its original container is marked anyways, because it came in a box that has long since been thrown away. It's just in this little
No.
glass, like baby food jar.
I wouldn't worry about it. No,
Okay.
bring a couple so that way they can put it in their mouth if they question it.
That's true. Yeah. Or yeah, somebody can throw it in their mouth and they can taste it and see that it foams up and is, yeah, toothpaste.
Yes.
Cool.
What about a emergency contact phone number? In case something happens, like our children or something need to get in touch with us?
I think those already were put in, weren't they? Aren't they on our,
Oh, on the app?
It should be in your documents. Was there a page?
I'll look through it then.
The one that you
Yeah.
just sent?
The ones that they mailed you?
Oh, I haven't gotten mine yet.
well, I have those, but I remember putting it somewhere. Maybe it was online. Maybe it was the airline. I
Oh,
don't
I
think
think she means if people need to reach the ship.
so. Oh, gotcha.
And that should definitely be in the documents that they mailed you. If they're not, let me know. But that's always in 99% of the documents I've seen.
Nancy, I think there were 2 copies of like the agenda and then the background. So you can leave
Yeah.
one at home and bring one with you.
Yeah,
That's what I got, I think.
yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
And you can launder your clothes. I've mentioned this before, but if you put something, you'll have a laundry bag in your room. And if you put stuff in the bag, it's pay by the piece. And so if you put stuff in the bag in the morning, they typically will have it on your bed by the afternoon. So, so you don't have to feel as though you need to bring tons of different clothing. I would definitely bring for the evenings where we're on the deck or looking at stars or whatever, I would definitely bring like a light jacket or a sweatshirt. And if you have a light rain jacket, that doesn't hurt either. And other than that, clothes, toiletries, medications, please bring extras. And I recommend splitting them up between your bags in case one piece is lost for whatever reason. Anything that you would not be able to get on the boat. Obviously, the doctor is going to have access to medications that are used frequently, but he won't have access to medications that are not used frequently. So please bring extra. The gift shop on the boat is awesome. It does have things like toothpaste and ibuprofen, but they're not going to have special meds. So
Do they provide the normal toiletries, the shampoos and conditioners and soap and all that stuff?
they do. They provide, when I was there last, they provided soap and shampoo.
So you don't
And-
have to pack that then?
Nancy, can you double check on that? I would assume they still do.
I will. Yeah. I mean, It's usually the little bottles.
Mm-hmm.
but
Do
I'll check that.
they replenish them every day, and so you have soap and shampoo and
Oh,
conditioner?
yeah, they'll replenish them if you ask. Yep. I can find out exactly what they provide though.
Thank you. When I went there, they had like these large refillable things and you pump it, I think to avoid waste, to avoid plastic waste. So those were like in the shower. And then hand soap at the sink.
Oh,
And
good.
also towels, if you want beach towels for the snorkeling trips, they're gonna bring towels onto the Zodiac. But if you want a beach towel for whatever reason, you can ask. They clean your room every day. We are gonna be so well taken care of, it's unbelievable. It's a real treat. There is a small fitness room and there's actually a spa, so you can pay for an additional cost. You can get massages on the boat. The fitness area is free, and also the early morning stretching is free. This is a lot of info. Does anyone have, I hope is this helpful to all of you to have all this detail?
Mhm.
Yeah, yes, I'm finding this very interesting and helpful. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, I was late because of work, and I have a question. First of all, I can't believe it's 2 weeks and 2 days. So I love opening that website. Where has the giant tortoise that gives you the countdown? And I'm sorry if you said this, but are there stations for water that you can put a reusable water thing versus using water, water bottles? Like, is the water filtered and safe to
Yes.
drink?
There are stations for water, and actually it mentioned in one of our documents that we should bring our own reusable water bottle.
Yep.
But yes, there are stations to get water and ice.
Okay. Because I went to the travel clinic, because once you've gotten sick on a trip, you will always be careful going forward. And they were like, only drink bottled water. And I was like, well, I think on the boat it would be okay.
Yeah, whatever they give you on the boat's gonna be safe. They don't want
Okay.
you getting.
And I don't really want to drink, like, considering the conservation, I don't really want to drink a lot of bottled water. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
no,
I'll
I
bring my-
don't.
But you can't bring bottled water. You can't bring like your own thermos of water on the plane. If
An
you bring a
empty
water
thermos.
bottle, you're gonna have to pack it in your luggage.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
then-
or just empty it before, dump
Or
it out
empty
before
it,
you go
yeah.
through security.
Right.
Okay.
That's a great question though, because supposedly what I was told was in Ecuador, the water is drinkable, but we are not used to there's certain minerals in the water that would make us ill simply because we're not used to them. And so if we are allowed to walk around in Santa Cruz on our own, I know they'll recommend that we purchase water. And then on the boat, thank God they have those stations where you can fill your water, which was
Yeah,
really
off the boat, don't eat or drink anything without checking with the guide.
Nancy, do you know if the water on the boat is fluoridated?
I'm not sure. Do you want me to check that or?
Yeah, could you check that?
Okay.
Well, I haven't had an exposure to fluoride in a long time, but I have an allergy to fluoride.
Oh, okay.
that's good.
I
to know.
think I put it in my documents, but I was thinking about that today, that I'm not 100% sure I did. Like, I know
Oh,
how to
okay,
be
I'll
really
add it if
careful,
you
but
have it.
yeah, because
And I'm
otherwise
sorry,
I'll
who's-
stay with bottled water that's not fluoridated.
Who's talking? I don't see.
Amy
Amy.
Sanders. Mhm.
I love that it says Amy Sanders' phone.
Yeah. Amy Sanders is just being too lazy to possibly show her face. Well,
Amy Sanders is.
Stephanie, is the shorty wetsuit, that'll keep us warm enough? We don't need to worry about anything for our legs?
I think you'll be okay. It's hard for me to say because my rash guard is like a full body suit, but I know a few people on this trip have purchased like the jackets, the wetsuit jackets that can go underneath the wetsuit. So I think you'll be fine, honestly. But if you're concerned, you could purchase like rash guard pants just for a little added extra layer for your legs.
But otherwise, you think it'll be just fine?
Yeah, I
I
was
think-
fine, and I don't like the cold.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine. Like once you get in, it's like, ooh, and then you're moving and then you don't even notice it. And that's another thing. If you think about earplugs, if anyone is sensitive to cooler water or if you're prone to ear infections or can't get water in your ears, they make great waterproof earplugs now. So just another consideration. And bring a couple of pairs in case you lose one. I think I've managed to think of everything. I hope you enjoy that packing list.
Nancy, Stephanie, can you send me another one of your packing list things by any chance?
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
absolutely. Be happy to.
When we see that collapsed volcano and we're seeing it from the boat, do you know how far away we're going to be?
I do not. They did not give us that detail, but close enough that it says you'll be able to see into it. So that's kind of
I
exciting.
was wondering, because I wasn't planning on bringing my binoculars just because they're big and bulky, but that might be something that I would want them for. Do you think?
You could borrow mine. I bought some very small effective ones.
Oh, okay. I'll borrow yours.
Sure.
And then you can borrow
Yay.
something of mine.
I'm sure I will.
Sounds good to me.
I definitely recommend binoculars because especially for those Zodiac rides, because we'll be going in and out of islets where there's like nesting birds on the cliffs. And when we're walking on hikes, yes, the birds are right at your feet. They tell you, please stay, at least 6 feet away. That's how close you are. But I loved having the binoculars for when I was on the Zodiac and I could see boobies diving and naughties on the cliffs and and we saw one Galapagos fur seal and I was able to see him in binoculars. So even if you can get a cheapo pair, I think it would help. And Galapagos fur seals are not really seals, they're sea lions. I love that Andrew's in her kitchen. Does anyone else have questions? Andrew, this is so funny. We're watching you.
Am I making too much noise? I can mute myself again.
Yes, if you can mute yourself just for the minute. You're not making too much noise, but we're viewing your entire kitchen.
I'm sizzling.
Okay. Any other questions? Does everyone have my phone number?
You didn't feel like on the Zodiac that you get seasick on the Zodiac?
No, not at all, because it's moving so slowly. And usually, like I said, we're going into islets. And so you're like going at a snail's pace, thankfully. And then the Zodiac trips to the island are we're usually very close to the island. So it's a short trip. There was only
You're
one
out.
day that it was a little bit choppy.
I haven't
you're out
been
in
on
fresh
this
air.
trip, but yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I haven't been in a Zodiac on this trip because I haven't been on this trip, but I was in a trip in Alaska, in Southeast Alaska, where we were in and out of Zodiacs a lot. And I am very prone to seasickness. I never had trouble in a Zodiac.
Yeah,
Right.
I never have either, and I'm very prone.
Awesome.
Yay, this makes me happy.
And you're gonna have the patch on anyway, right, Nancy?
Well, if I can use it, if not, I'll have to take it off. It makes your mouth so dry.
Mm.
Yeah, I used it, 2 weeks ago I had. And
And
a
how did it
little
work?
dryness, but better than being sick.
Yeah.
Sometimes when
Yeah.
I've been on a trip and I've been worried about getting seasick, I don't use a patch and I haven't used scopolamine because it's kind of strong, but sometimes if I just take like a quarter, like literally a quarter of a Dramamine, it'll keep me from getting tired, but it'll also keep me from starting to get seasick. And if you don't get started in the first place, then you do okay.
Exactly.
They
Yeah,
also have like ginger candies. Like, so I took a sailboat and I had those, and sometimes they help just a little mild case of it. I have a very delicate constitution, so sometimes Atlantic Spice Company sells them actually.
I actually do too when it comes to seasickness. I get motion sick in the back seat of a car.
I was gonna say
So-
the same thing. That's where I get sick the most.
Yeah.
I get sick standing on a dock.
Oh, that
my
has.
goodness.
Oh, that's bad. No, I mean, I get sick in the backseat of a car, but I don't have too much trouble on boats unless I go below or into the head where it's all enclosed.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
Like 1 minute in there and I'm toast, and then you just can't get better until
Yeah,
you.
but the patches work like a charm.
The windows on the boat don't open, correct?
I
Not
don't
usually.
think so.
No, unless it's a balcony.
Oh, a balcony.
And,
No, I don't think there's any balconies on that ship.
Oh,
oh, and I forgot to mention, but I feel like I mentioned it somewhere that I, snorkeling on the days where we have a couple of snorkeling opportunities. They usually let you, there's a drying rack on the top deck where you can let your clothes dry out in between. But I was just telling Amy Sanders, there might be some pieces where you feel like you would like to have two, so that you put on a dry piece of clothing in the afternoon if you're going back in the water, if that makes sense. And they also had the spinners that spin out the water out of your clothes, and then I would put them onto the top drying rack, and then they would be mostly dry when I would need to get in the water again, which was helpful because we all know when you try to put wet, cold clothes on, that doesn't work. So the drying rack super helps.
So this is kind of a dumb question, but so underneath the wetsuit, can you put like a regular bathing suit bottom and a rash guard top?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can
You
layer
can
Yeah,
put
I
anything you
sort of
want
have
under
that.
a wetsuit.
So you have on rash guard, but do you have a bathing suit on underneath, or what do you do?
No, like a bathing suit bra.
Yes.
Well,
you- you
I
can
have
put-
Like a rash guard and then like a
You-
bathing
so-
suit bottom, right?
You can put anything that you want on under a wetsuit.
Great.
Generally snug fitting clothing is better under a wetsuit than other clothing. So, because if it's not snug fitting, it can tend to bind up under, the wetsuit's tight. So it can tend to you'll get lumps and stuff that might feel uncomfortable, but you can wear anything that you want under a wetsuit. And generally you're going to want to wear a bathing suit or a rash guard or something, because you're going to want the wetsuit off when you get out of the water.
Great. You don't want to be naked.
And you don't want to be naked.
Not
Speak
right
for
there.
yourself. No.
Yes, in fact, I recommend putting something underneath to protect your skin. And it will
You
add
don't
another
have to,
layer of
you don't
warmth.
have to though on a wetsuit. It can be much harder to get a
don't have
wetsuit on and off if you're not wearing like a rash guard underneath. It's possible, but it's hard, and it's especially hard if you're wet. And
But
so you
that's why
might
I'm
need,
just wondering, like, if you have a bathing suit bottom, it doesn't go down, far down.
yeah,
to the legs.
you can put it on if you're wet, if you're damp, and you try to put on the wetsuit and you don't have, say, a legging type of thing, which most people don't when they put on wetsuit. Most people are just wearing a bathing suit bottom and a bathing suit top. That's what most people do wear. Rash guards are made more for surfing and keeping yourself from getting sun exposure than they are for being put on under a wetsuit. Although you can get something called a slip suit, or you can get a really snug rash guard and use that too. Just because wetsuits are very tight and sometimes they're hard to get on and off. It isn't about what you're wearing underneath as far as skin irritation usually, though. It's more about the ease of getting something on and off. Because they just pull on your skin, they just pull on you when you're when you're putting them on, but you get somebody to help you. And if you set your dignity aside, usually it's very doable. It's just not always as dainty and glamorous as you might like.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes, and the rash guards protect you, of course, from the sun, the sand.
Right.
Jellyfish.
I've got a full suit. I don't actually think I'll wear a wetsuit. I don't think I'll need one because I stay warm plenty well, but I got leggings for swimming and they go down over my feet, and then I figure I'll have swim fins on with that, and then I also have a top that's long sleeve, and so stay out of the sun.
Yes. Yay.
All right, my dinner is finished.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea, for joining us.
Yes,
This is
it's been great.
fun
We'll
trip.
be right over.
Yeah, you should.
Nancy, I'm gonna get off now, so I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody, but Nancy, can I call you tomorrow about figuring out this app thing?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Yeah,
Thank you.
look at it tonight, but go right to the email I sent and try doing it from there on your phone.
Yeah, I did. There's just some glitch, so maybe I'll
Yeah.
just redo it. Okay, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Nancy. Bye.
I'm going to sign off too. Does anyone have any more questions?
Probably
I have
not.
another Zoom in 15
Ooh,
minutes.
okay. Nancy, thank you for Thank you for being there.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'll get back to you all with the questions.
Thank you. No, come back with the answers instead.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
Okay.
all.
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Yay, I can't wait to meet you guys. Have a
Bye,
good
Stephanie.
night.
Look forward to that, Steph.
Yes,
Me
it's gonna be
too.
fun. You're
I
welcome.
was late.
What?
I'm sorry I was late.
That's okay. You've seen the presentation before anyway. I mean, I added just a few things.
Oh, I thought I did, and I was like, but I wanted to come see everybody. But I'm very worried about that wetsuit, so I have my own splash guard stuff. I just hope it's warm enough, but we'll see.
You
I-
will be fine because it's not going to be any cool. The water sounds like it's going to be very similar to what we have around here.
All right.
Yeah. Yep.
I had
I think we might feel overdressed, actually.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be the case too. I don't even plan to wear a wetsuit. Like if
Okay.
you can go in the bay comfortably here in the summertime, on a cooler day and cooler water day in the summer, then and you can do that comfortably, you'll be fine there. It's not even like as cold as the ocean is here usually. It's